Hey everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be doing a little Copic coloring on glitter cardstock, and I am featuring this adorable stamp and die set. This is the Cotton Candy stamp and die set. It's brand new from Avery Elle today, and I have to tell you, when I first saw this stamp set, I knew this cotton candy had to be special. And so I decided that what is better than big O puffy cotton candy that's pink and glittery, because that is definitely something I would eat. So I'm going to do a little stamping on glitter cardstock. Now, because this stamp is so large and it's kind of hollow in the middle, when I placed it onto the cardstock before I stamped it, I kind of checked to make sure I hadn't distorted it. And I did that by kind of holding the die around the stamp on that cardstock just to make sure that everything was well proportioned, because you can kind of stretch out these larger images. And once I had it where I knew it was all in proportion, I went ahead and inked it up with some Stazon ink. Now, this Stazon ink is going to stamp really well on this glitter cardstock. Mine's a little dry, so I don't have a super dark black image. And quite honestly, even if it was re-inked, I'm not sure that it would be like pitch black on this glitter cardstock. I just don't think you can get that with any kind of ink. If you know of an ink, I would love to hear about it, but I just decided to go with it. Everybody's going to be looking at the glitter anyway, not how black my line is, right? I mean, for sure. So I went ahead and stamped it twice in the Stazon, and then I used some Neenah heavyweight cardstock, and I stamped that with some Amalgam ink because I needed a Copic-friendly ink. Now, here's a couple things. I'm using the broad or chisel nib of my Copic markers to color on this glitter cardstock because it is a really nice firm nib. And in the past, I have done this, and I haven't had any issues with it ruining my nibs. So keep that in mind. But if you're concerned about it, I will encourage you in one area and tell you that Copic nibs are replaceable. So if you did manage to mess up your nib with coloring on the glitter cardstock, which I have yet to do, then I would tell you that you can replace it. The other thing I wanted to mention is Stazon is not Copic friendly. So I am avoiding the lines as I'm doing my coloring so that I don't smudge and smear that black ink. Now, these Copic markers blend really well on the glitter cardstock, and you shouldn't have any problems with them drying because it is an alcohol ink. You wouldn't want to try this with a dye-based marker. You need something like an alcohol ink that can dry on non-porous surfaces like this glitter cardstock. So, like I said, any alcohol ink marker should work for this. You could even try Sharpies if you're afraid to use like your Copic markers on glitter cardstock. But I've done this several times in the past and I haven't had any issues. And you can see I wasn't exactly going at it, with a light pressure. I was going pretty hard at the coloring there. So I didn't have any problems with it. I added some gray shading to the paper funnel of that, and then I went ahead and die cut both of these cotton candies out. And I also used this oval burst die from Avery Elle and die cut that from some heavyweight cardstock. Now, I don't want the little cone to be glitter cardstock, so I went ahead and just used my scissors to trim that off. And now I'm just using that darkest color Copic marker to add a little bit of pink to this under layer, just so that when you look at it from the side, you're not seeing all white underneath this glitter piece. I am going to use some foam adhesive to adhere that on the top, so sometimes you can kind of see under that. I wish I would have done a little bit more neat job coloring underneath. I kind of just scribbled it on there, and you can kind of see some blobs underneath, but like I said, we're all going to be distracted by the shiny glitter and no one's going to care what's underneath, right? So I have that all adhered together and I'm kind of building up my card as I go. And now I'm grabbing this banner bit set from Avery Elle, and I prepped the surface of some vellum with my powder tool, and I'm stamping this large banner onto the vellum. And then I'm going to use the sweet sentiment that's a part of the cotton candy stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that right in the middle of the banner. Now, you're not going to see what I'm doing because it's all clear ink at this point, but I could see the shine of the ink that I had stamped the banner in, and I was able to position that sweet sentiment right in the middle there. I coated it with some gold embossing powder, and now I'm heat setting that. And then I'm going to use the coordinating die from the Banner Bits set, and I'm going to hold it in place with some delicate surface painter's tape and run that through my die cut machine. And then I will have this adorable sentiment banner to put on my card front. Now, one thing that I really love about this completed card design is that it is actually a really simple card. It came together really quickly, but I felt like it needed just a little something else. So I am taking the corner of my VersaMark ink. I prepped this oval burst die cut with some powder tool, and I'm just taking the corner of this VersaMark ink pad and I'm running it around the inner edge of this oval. I just wanted a hint more gold on this card. I didn't want it to be overwhelming, but I just felt like it needed a little something to kind of just step it up just a bit. So once I ran that ink pad around, I coated this with some gold embossing powder, and it is a very tiny amount that you're actually seeing here. There were some areas that I needed to clean up, so I just did that with a dry paintbrush, and then I went ahead and heat set that, and I have the tiniest bit of gold rim around the inner edge of that oval, and it looks so beautiful on the completed card. Now, once I get that heat set, I'm going to use some foam adhesive, and I'm going to adhere this oval burst piece onto a kind of minty colored card base. There is something about Avery Elle stamps that just makes me want to use mint and pink. I don't know what it is, but if you look back at some of my other Avery Elle cards, I feel like I use a lot of mint or aqua colors and pink with their stamp sets. I don't know what it is, but there you have it. So now I have my cotton candy in place here, and I used foam adhesive for that. And for this banner sentiment, I used some Cool Tack clear foam adhesive squares and just kind of tucked them behind that embossed greeting to disguise them. In the pictures, I feel like it's more noticeable than when you actually look at the card in person, that little bit of clear foam adhesive behind there. In person, I don't feel like you can see it that much, and so it doesn't really bother me. If you wanted to kind of hide some liquid glue behind it instead, you could definitely do that. I finished the card off with a few sparkling clear sequins, and that completes my card for today, and I absolutely love this glittery pink cotton candy. It looks so good. I think I could absolutely just eat it up. But I do not recommend that. That's probably not a safe idea. So as I mentioned before, this card design is super simple, but it packs a big impact with that shading with the Copic markers that is on this cotton candy, and I just love the glittery effect. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube, but head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies, as well as the Copic colors that I used. I'll have those listed over there. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications for my YouTube channel so you won't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today. Thanks for sticking around to the very end. You know, if you've made it this far, you are one of my favorites. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.